Part 2. The Interregnum. The dynamics of the National Clan are relatively well documented, especially those that fit within the neat compartmentalization of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Clan. But part of this story requires a detour into an in-between period of the clan, a time that I call the Interregnum. While large-scale clan activity, that is, nationwide coordination, was almost negligible, the clan continued to exist in regions like the Southeast. And chapters of the clan opened and closed in those intervening years too. One place where that happened was North Carolina. In a period from around 1950 until 1954, the KKK had enough presence in eastern North Carolina that local newspapers were concerned about its influence. It's in this interregnum period that we will find another metamorphosis. In 1950, the Klan came to North Carolina after a long absence, and it came in the form of a motorcade. A motorcade that would go through white neighborhoods to recruit members, and go through black neighborhoods to intimidate the inhabitants. People of color were not the only ones who received verbal vitriol, however. It was just more difficult to identify a Jew, Catholic, or Socialist by their appearance alone. The Klan faced backlash by local newspapers, however, and one of those newspapers was the Tabor City Tribune, owned by Horace Carter. Carter came to Tabor City in 1946. Located in Columbus County, Tabor City is to the far southeastern part of the state, only about 40 miles north of the border to South Carolina. He graduated with a degree from journalism from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and spent 4 years in the Navy during the Second World War. When he arrived in Tabor City, he was seen by many of the locals as a liberal, and his campaign against the Klan in the early 1950s may have reflected those liberal ideals. During a time when most newspapers wouldn't show pictures of people of color unless they were convicted of crimes, Carter and the Tabor City Tribune would have stories about how people of color served their communities and would include their pictures. It's a strange thing to think about today, but it was a big deal at the time, really a violation of common practice. So, Carter saw African Americans as equals in the sense that they shouldn't be harassed or discriminated against because of the color of their skin. Similarly, even though the population of these groups was significantly smaller in North Carolina, he had no qualms with religious minorities like Catholics or Jews either. From his perspective, and I hope this is the modern-day perspective, the Klan was nothing more than a bastion of bigotry only characterized by what it opposed. It was racist, anti-papist, anti-Semitic, xenophobic, and nativist. For liberal-minded Southerners, it was too reactionary for them. But Carter's opposition to the Klan wasn't just the age-old conflict between liberals and conservatives. He objected to the methods of the Klan, and this objection was shared by many conservative Southerners who held many of the same beliefs as the Klan. Even Horace Carter shared some of the Klan's beliefs. First and foremost was the Klan's anti-communism, this during the era of Joseph McCarthy and the early career of Richard Nixon. And many moderates would share even more in common with the Klan, like their racial beliefs or the supremacy of the Protestant faith. The methods that the Klan used, however, could alienate potential supporters. It was a secret society, or at least an underground one. The only Klansman to show his face at rallies was the Grand Wizard, and even then, the Grand Wizard was one Thomas L. Hamilton from Leesville, South Carolina, far from Tabor City. He could show his face because he wasn't established in North Carolina as part of the community, but the rest of the Klansmen had to keep their faces covered, and their secrecy added to their power because you never knew who was a member of the Klan, so you better watch what you say. Meeting in secret and hiding your face was not a way to be accepted by respectable men, and these actions undermined the Klan's appeal and effectiveness. It wasn't just secrecy that alienated moderates. There was a strain of vigilantism in Klan behavior, where Klansmen were the arbiters of morality. If a husband was maritally unfaithful, an adulterer, he might find himself out in the field and whipped. Another husband who was a wife-beater might find himself similarly flogged. Even people who believed in the moral degeneracy of the Klan's victims and felt that their punishments were deserved, and Carter was one of those people, he didn't think that extrajudicial violence was the proper channel for that punishment. There were people who idealized the twin virtues of law and order. The lower-class rabble assaulting people didn't really fall into that category. So, using Horace Carter as a case study, I have identified 2 different reasons for opposing the Klan. One more associated with liberals, the other more associated with conservatives. The liberal opposition was based on egalitarian ideals, that all people should be equal in the eyes of the law. Liberals opposed explicit bigotry, and the Klan was both bigoted and explicit. Conservatives, on the other hand, had a more nuanced reason for opposing the Klan. There were proper channels for expressing indignation at the state of the community or the country, and the Klan made its own channels. It operated in secret and would act under the cover of night. A respectable member of Southern societies wouldn't want to associate with that. And really, the alienation of moderate racists was the downfall of the Interregnum Klan. The attacks leveled against the Klan in the Tabor City Tribune wouldn't have influenced anyone who already believed that the Klan was evil. It was the people who agreed with the Klan's ideas that needed to be dissuaded, and the Klan's propensity for violence helped that effort. In mid-1950, a Klansman shot up an African-American-owned cafe across the state border in Myrtle Beach. The only death was the Klansman, who was also a police officer. And this started an FBI probe into the Carolina Klan and Grand Dragon Thomas Hamilton, which was unusual because FBI probes into the Klan weren't done until really the mid-60s. Regardless, a number of Klansmen and Hamilton himself were arrested around Columbus County, and the charges were related to belonging to an unrecognized secret society or to the beatings administered to their supposed degenerates. The loss of leadership proved detrimental to an already small, localized organization. By 1958, it was remarked that there was no significant Klan activity in North Carolina and that the Klan was unlikely to ever gain strength again. For its anti-Klan articles, the Tabor City Tribune was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Meritorious Journalism in 1953. Obviously, this would not be the last time that the Klan was seen. The Interregnum Klan shows an important change in the Klan between the two periods of major activity. As an organization, it reverted to its roots as a secret society, even though it claimed to profess American ideals like anti-communism. Grand Dragon Hamilton tried to appeal to two different groups of people, Lost Cause Southerners and Patriotic Southerners. The effect was an alienation of most of the population of North Carolina, especially with their methods that they employed. The primary concern with the Klan was respectability, and the conduct was too scandalous for many moderates to support. But the Klan would revise itself again because of the social instability provided by the Civil Rights Movement, and this Klan would represent yet another change.